clear. And I'm sharing the PDF in group. अगर यहाँ पर स्क्रीन क्लियर नहीं है तो फिर आप उसको खोलकर पढ़ सकते हैं. I will need some time to make separate PDFs. नेक्स्ट चैप्टर से हम स्टार्ट कर सकते हैं. थर्ड चैप्टर से PDF में बनाऊंगी, बट अभी आपको इस तरह से मैनेज करना होगा. All right, we will begin now. I've shared the PDF in the group. आप उसमें से देख सकते हैं. All right. So, in our previous class, we were discussing that our relationship with Krishna is eternal. It's not like that we have to establish a new relationship with Krishna. It is already there. Love for Krishna is already there in our hearts, but it is covered because of the material contamination. Okay, before moving ahead, I want to put one more point here, which I heard in one lecture. You know, when I went Vrindavan, so there I met with one devotee. He was Italian. He was from Italy, and basically he's from, you might have heard, Anand Dham. So he's from that sampradaya. Basically, he follows the disciple of Srila Prabhupada. Um, I don't remember the name of his Param Guru Dev, but still, I heard like he shared one lecture with me. Let me just see. I noted down that. Anyways, let me just quote it, whatever I read, whatever I heard. So in that lecture, that Prabhuji was telling about the about the success of life. That what is the real success? What is the real success of this human form of life? One life is actually a failure. It is a complete disaster, actually. If having attained this rare human birth, we don't purify our hearts of the material contamination, of bodily identification, and we are fully engaged in the service of God, by which we can see the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna, by which we can attain the divine, eternal, transcendental body. This is not our real body, isn't it? Our our body is transcendental, like Krishna. As we are fragmental part of Krishna, so qualitatively we are similar. Our qualities are similar to Krishna. And in fact, not only we may get the transcendental body, we can actually get the transcendental form directly engaged in the loving services of Sri Sri Radha Sham Sundar. This is the real success of life. That having attained this human form of life, we are working on the purification of our hearts. So love for Krishna is always there in our hearts, but it is covered due to material contamination. So if we squander our time in the worldly activities. Squander means if we are misusing our time, we are wasting our time in the worldly matters, worldly activities. There will be no opportunities to be successful in any way. We're simply just wasting our lives actually. Suppose if you worked so hard to take admission in a college, and by your hard work, or maybe not by hard work, you gave the exam and you just cleared that exam. Maybe by the reason, maybe your hard work or maybe your good luck, whatever. You cleared that exam and you got the admission in that college. But suppose now, even after getting admission in that nice college, you're not working hard, you're not studying nicely, and you're just wasting your time. So, will you qualify? Will you qualify in that exam? Will you be able to promote in whatever studies you will be doing? Like, will you be able to promote from that college so that you may get a nice job, a nice placement? There will be no opportunities to be successful in any way if you're just squandering your time in watching movies or whatever things, if you're not studying nicely. And it will be actually a great matter of shame that even though you got admission in that college, very top college, but then also you were not sincere in your studies, so you were not able to get a nice placement, a nice job. So, same way, if we are squandering our time in the worldly activities, then there will be no opportunities for us to get successful in any way. Plus, it will be a great matter of shame in the old age and at the end of the life. And you know what? Prabhuji was also phrasing this thing with an example, that he was telling that when he was preparing for IIT, so he gave entrance for the very first time, but he was not able to clear it. He was just, he failed to clear the examination. Then, second time also he gave, but then also probably he was not qualified. I mean, he was not able to clear the exam. But then again, third time also he gave. He was just saying, he was telling that I was thinking in my mind that let me just try one more time. Otherwise, so that there will be no scope of lamenting later. That, oh, I had opportunity, I would have tried one more time. So, same way, if we have got this human form of life, if we are young, like means if we are not in our old age, if we got the association of devotees in this much young age means if even if you are in your 30s or even 40s, then also if you got to know about this auspicious knowledge of Krishna consciousness, then you should just give your all in serving Krishna very, very nicely. How to serve Krishna nicely? By chanting 16 rounds, following four regulative principles, hearing more and more about Krishna, consuming Krishna's remnants, and all these things. Helping others so that they may also progress in their Krishna consciousness journey. So, yes, if we have got this human form of life, if we got this chance, we are aware of this knowledge, then we should definitely give our all. Otherwise, when time is passing very quickly, very fastly, when our old age will come, or when at like we will be at the stage of the end of our life, there will be no scope of lamentation. Is it not? Oh, I got this human form of life, but I just wasted it in sense gratification, in gratifying my senses. there will be no scope of lamenting, is it not? But you see people who just wasted their whole life, they are just they just lament at the end of their lives, at their old ages. And they don't lament that we were not able to serve Krishna, but they just lament that now we will not be able to gratify our senses nicely. So this point was very amazing. That if we got this human form of life, then our goal should be to purify our hearts. And that is through this process of Krishna consciousness. Okay. So now we will move forward. Let's see. In Bhagavad Gita, the peace formula is clearly given. So we also discussed this thing that because people are not realizing that their father is Krishna, their supreme father is Krishna, so there is no brotherhood. And because there is no brotherhood, so there is no peace. People are just, they're competing each other in name of religion, that our religion is best, our religion is top, you're inferior to us, this that. So they are not realizing. See, there is no possibility of realizing these higher ideals without Krishna. If the central point is missing, which is Krishna, how can there be brotherhood and peace? So yes, in Bhagavad Gita, the peace formula is clearly given. We have to understand that Krishna is the only enjoyer. The consciousness of this is developed in a Krishna conscious temple. Okay, I want to announce one thing here, that from today we will be doing 1 hour class of English. So instead of doing regularly, like schedule will be like that only, we will be discussing English Monday to Wednesday, but for 1 hour. So in morning we'll be doing it from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. Monday to Wednesday. And other 3 days, that is Thursday to Saturday, we will be discussing Prabhupada Leelamrit for 1 hour. So yeah, there are the modifications in timing, but days will be same, time will be same, but it's just we have extended the time. So we'll be doing it for 1 hour today. Okay. The consciousness of this is developed in a Krishna conscious temple where the central point of all activities is Krishna. Yes. All cooking is carried on for Krishna, not for one own purposes. So Srila Prabhupada himself tells this thing that, just a second, I saved that quote. Yes. Everyone has dormant love for Krishna, and by culture and education, that has to be awakened. So, love is already there, but it's in the uh, like that has to be awakened, and this is the purpose of Krishna consciousness movement. The dormant love is already there, but it's just it has to be awakened. So the consciousness of this is developed in a Krishna conscious temple, a Krishna consciousness movement, where the central point of all activities is Krishna. All cooking is carried on for Krishna, not for one's own purposes. Ultimately, we shall eat the prasadam, offered food, but when we cook, we should think that we are cooking for Krishna and not for ourselves. When the members of a temple go into the streets, they do not do so for their own sake, but to distribute Krishna conscious literatures in order to make people aware of Krishna's presence. So, are you understanding this thing? People are not aware of this thing. So, one should give chance to them. Just always remember this thing that devotees gave chance to us also. Is it not? So now it's our duty that we also give chance to people that they may become aware of Krishna's presence. They may understand that who really Krishna is. All monies acquired are spent. Okay, not money, it's money. Monies, you know, money, wealth. All monies acquired are spent for Krishna in spreading his message in so many ways. Such a style of life in which everything is done for Krishna promotes the development of Krishna consciousness within the living entity. Our activities may remain the same. We simply have to understand that we are acting for Krishna and not for our personal satisfaction. So you see now Krishna consciousness is extremely easy. You don't have to quit anything. You just have to turn that particular thing towards Krishna. It's just that easy. So I know one devotee, he's a drummer. So I was telling him that you don't really have to quit your drumming thing. You just have to turn it towards Krishna. So if you like to sing, you like to play music, so you just play it for Krishna. And Krishna will love your drumming. Yes, whatever we do for Krishna, Krishna really appreciates it. I was really, thinking about this thing today. I was hearing one lecture in which, like, discussion was going about what is bhakti. So, um, yeah, discussion was like this that any person, when he get the connection of the Chid Shakti, that is um, spiritual potency of Krishna. When anyone gets in, like he comes in contact with the Chid Shakti of Krishna, spiritual potency of Krishna, then only he is able to understand Krishna. So when we are chanting the names of Krishna, holy names of Krishna, when we are hearing about Krishna, when we are consuming remnants of Krishna, so we are actually coming in contact with the spiritual potency of Krishna. That is Srimati Radharani, Antaranga Shakti, Chit Shakti. So you will see, I was thinking on this point that when we are chanting names of Krishna, we are calling Krishna. When we are hearing about Krishna, so it is very pleasing to Krishna. See, if we talk about this material world, so if you are someone and you are so much passionate, just think this as an example. You're so much enthused to talk about someone. You are just praising that person, you are hearing about that person, and you are discussing about that person with your friends. So he will be very, very pleased with you, is it not? Just like, for example, if like this happen, if there is a group of people, and in that group, if someone is talking about you, they are discussing about your qualities, that wow, Rukmini Mataji is really a very nice cook. She's very sincere devotee. She's very sincere devotee. She is very cute devotee. You know, so if you will come to know about this thing that wow, devotees are actually praising me. They are talking about my qualities. So will it not be pleasurable to you? I mean, ordinarily, if we talk about this thing, okay, I'm not talking about that. You don't have to pretend that, oh, I am an insignificant soul. I don't like that if anyone is praising me, if anyone is appreciating me. No. Like normally, if we talk normally, then we will be happy. It will be pleasing to us that wow, they are discussing about my qualities. Wow. Just like you know, this time when I went Vrindavan, so I took laddus. I made laddus for devotees for Prabhuji. And today, like in class, morning class, Prabhuji was kind of appreciating that those laddus were very amazing, tasty. So I was very happy that wow, I was able to satisfy Prabhuji with my services. So this is natural that we are happy when any person is praising us, appreciating us. So, same way, if we are talking about Krishna, when we are hearing about the opulences of Krishna, that how great Krishna is, we are chanting his names. So, it is very, very pleasing to Krishna. Very, very, very pleasing that we are keeping Krishna in our center. We are in our consciousness, we are thinking more and more about Krishna. This is very, very pleasing to Krishna. So, yes, one should understand this thing that whatever things we are doing for Krishna, when we are putting Krishna in center, it is very pleasing to Krishna. So, such a style of life in which everything is done for Krishna promotes the development of Krishna consciousness within the living entity. Our activities may remain the same, we simply have to understand that we are acting for Krishna and not for our personal satisfaction. In this way, we can come to our original consciousness and be happy. See, you will yourself observe this thing that when we do something in connection to Krishna, we are automatically happy. If you are, hearing, if you are doing Shravanam, so even though if you were not able to understand class very, very nicely, but then also you will experience a sense of peace in your heart. Same for chanting. You yourself can observe this thing. But on the other hand, if you are even if you are able to understand any materialistic matter, but then also that will not give you any peace. You will not experience any peace in your heart. That will actually burn your heart like anything. So you yourself can observe that Krishna consciousness is something different. These spiritual topics are something different. They are not ordinary. Unless one is established in his original consciousness, which is Krishna consciousness, he is certain to be crazy to some degree. Everyone who is not Krishna conscious is to be considered crazy. Crazy means mad, madman, because he exists on a platform which is temporary and transient. Transient means which is not fixed, and it is only there for a specific period of time. Yes, transient means impermanent, temporary, short lived, which is for a short period of time. So, this is really not intelligence that any person he is considering temporary life as his real life. So this is his craziness. Just like suppose if you are living in a home and you are living on a rent, you have rented that room or house, but you are assuming that, oh, this is my house. I will be living here for always. So, will this not be a craziness of that person that he's thinking that I will be staying here for always? He will be kicked out from from the landlord of that particular house at any time. The moment the landlord will say that now you have to leave this home, you can't stay here. So he will have to leave the home. He will have to leave that house. But it will be his craziness if he is assuming that I will be staying here for always. It is not possible. Our engagements should be eternal because we are eternal. And that eternal engagement is the rendering of service to Krishna in love. So Srila Prabhupada tells this thing that you will see every person is performing some austerity in his life. He's doing some tapasya, some sacrifices. So, yes, sacrifices should be done, austerities should be performed, but for eternal returns, for eternal things, not the temporary things. We should always invest our energy for eternal benefits, which will be there with us for always. So, the intelligence is that we put our all energy, our time in Krishna consciousness because that will give us eternal benefits. Eternal means which cannot be snatched away from us. It will be there with us for always. No one can snatch it from us. So, as we are eternal, so our engagements should also be eternal. And that eternal engagement is the rendering of service to Krishna in love. I was also, pondering on this thing that earlier when I used to do many things I used to do when I was not in Krishna consciousness, but I was doing it as a duty. Some pressure was there that you will have to do these things, there is no option. So, see, when you do something in pressure, then you really can't experience taste in it. You can't experience satisfaction in something if you are doing it by some pressure. Is it not? But in Krishna consciousness, you will see that whatever we are doing, we are not pressured. We are not forced to do that. You have come to this class by your own choice to hear about Krishna. You chant your rounds every day. You wake up early in the morning by your own choice to give your time to Krishna. So, anything, when you are doing anything by your own choice, that means you are experiencing satisfaction in doing that particular thing. Just like, I was not good in my studies and I was doing it in pressure that if you will not study, you will not get a nice job, you will not get a nice husband, or whatever things. But right now, also, you can see that we are studying, but we are doing it with our own choice. There is no pressure. This is very deep point actually. We have discussed this thing that we are independent to desire. And we are serving Krishna with our own desire, by our own desire. We are not forced to serve Krishna. And Krishna will never. Krishna can, but he will not. He will never force us to serve him or to love him because love cannot be forced. And if any person is forcing you that you love me, why are you not loving me? You please love me. Then you can't actually love him. You will not feel satisfaction. And that person will also not feel any satisfaction because that will be artificial love. So from eternal time, we are here. We are rotting in this material world from eternal time. But Krishna never forced us to love him. Right now, also Krishna is not forcing. We are serving him lovingly by our own choice, with our own choices. There is no uh, there is no pressure, and that's why we are experiencing satisfaction. So things are interconnected here. Krishna is the supreme eternal, and we are subordinate eternals. Krishna is the supreme living entity, and we are subordinate living entities. See how Srila Prabhupada is clarifying this. That even though we are fragmental parts of Krishna and we have same qualities of Krishna, so we are similar in qualities, but we are subordinate to Krishna. Supreme will always be Krishna. Even if we will get liberated from this material world, then also we will always be subordinate to Krishna. We will always be his servants. So, I was explaining this point to one devotee. Uh, I don't know, some negativity was there. I mean, there was some misunderstanding. So that devotee was saying that I'm not depending on you for my whatever devotional services I'm doing. I don't know, he was saying something like that. So I told him that I have never said you that you are dependent on me or I am someone to drag you on this path. It's Krishna who took you on this path. I am an insignificant soul. I was just saying this to him. So he was not understanding this thing. That insignificant soul, what does that mean to say insignificant soul? If you're saying that you are an insignificant soul, then that means you're saying Krishna is insignificant because we are fragmental parts of Krishna. Then how can we be insignificant? So I was a little perplexed that, yeah. Then I asked this question from Prabhuji. So Prabhuji is very amazing. He just wrote 1 by 10,000. That's it. And I grabbed it that yes, we are fragmental parts of Krishna. What is our size? 1 by 10,000 part of the tip of the hair. Like we are very fine. Our size is very, very fine. So I made him understand with this example that suppose you have two bank accounts. In one bank account, you have $1,000, and in another bank account, you have $0.5. So, what is the value of those $0.5 in front of $1,000? Those $0.5 is it's insignificant. They have no value. So same way, we are insignificant because we are parts of Krishna. Qualitatively, we are similar to Krishna, but then also we are insignificant. We are subordinate. And if we understand it with another example, so you will see in this world, uh, who is actually caring about us? No one care about us, is it not? Everyone is after gratifying their own senses. They really don't care about you anymore, like any person. And if you really want to judge this point, if you really want to understand this nicely, Prabhuji was telling, then you know, you just die for 2 months. You just die for 2 months, and you will come to know that was your presence really, you know, was it really, does it really matter? I'm not able to explain it nicely. Was your presence really mattering? I don't know. Was your presence really mattering in this material world where you are living? No. Because I can really relate with this. Everyone can relate with this, that if any person leave his body in this world, then people will forget that person after a few months. This is natural. For how long will he be crying for that person, whoever left his body? So we are so insignificant here. But then also we pretend like we are so cool, we are so great, but it's not like that. We are insignificant. The finger is part and parcel of the total body, and its eternal function is to serve the body. Indeed, that is the very purpose for the finger. And if it cannot serve the whole body, it is diseased or useless. Similarly, as part and parcel, we have to serve Krishna and be subordinate to him, because as the Supreme Father, he supplies all our necessities. Such a life of subordination to Krishna is a normal life and is a life of actual liberation. Wow! So, this is actually a normal life to serve Krishna. If you have become a devotee, you're serving Krishna nicely. So, other people will be troubled. He will think that he's living normal life. He is something very, strange. These people are very strange. Other people, they often see devotees like this only. That these people are very strange. They are not living normal lives like us. But that is actually not normal life. That is diseased life. If any person, if he is not serving Krishna, then he is actually diseased. He's not in his normal condition. Normal condition is that we are serving Krishna, because that is our real identity. Those who try to deny Krishna and live outside of any relationship to him are actually leading a sinful life. Oh. So that is diseased life, but a sinful and also a sinful life. So this is true. See, externally you might see many people, they behave very, very nicely, they have good qualities or whatever things. But if they are denying Krishna, they have no interest about Krishna, they are not interested in Krishna, then they are leading a sinful life. Can you really relate with this? I can really relate with this because often I remember many people which I met in my past. I remember many people that, oh, that girl was very nice. She was my best friend. She was very nice to me. If I will tell her about Krishna, she will definitely get convinced. And uh, exact opposite happens, what I think. There is one girl. She was my best friend in my school time. Like, she was my best friend. We always used to sit together. We used to have our lunch together or whatever things. But I connected with her few months ago and I told her about Krishna, but she was not interested. She was intelligent in her studies, but then also she was not interested in Krishna. And like few days ago also, there was a person. He was also very innocent. I remember in college time. So few days ago, I talked with him. He said we will connect on a voice, like call. I connected him on call, and he was speaking rubbish things. He wasted my 10 minutes. People they just speak anything rubbish. They are not interested in Krishna anymore. Like they are not at all. They are not interested in Krishna, talks about Krishna at all. They are just interested in gratifying their senses. And that person was really speaking rubbish to me. Later, I was thinking, why did I called him? I'm stupid, number one, that I called him that day. So I took it as a lesson that I will never connect on a call with any person. I will first clear from no, text messages that this is my interest. Are you interested in my interest? If you are interested in my interests, then we can go ahead. Otherwise, bye. So this was amazing point that those who try to deny Krishna and live outside of any relationship to him are actually leading sinful life. So all right, we will stop our discussion here now. Thank you so much for joining and we'll continue our discussion like this for 1 hour every single day, at least for 45 minutes if Krishna is willing. Thank you so much for joining. Hare Krishna. Jai Srila Prabhupada.